How you doing, folks? Darren here. Very warm welcome back to the Hangout. But today we're doing something a little bit different. This is Brandon, and he runs Llanelli Music Shop here in my hometown of Llanelli.
Hello there, folks.
Brandon has been kind enough to give us a little bit of access today to some of the vintage guitars that he has recently acquired for the store. And let me tell you, they are cool as hell. So, Brandon, where do you want to start, my friend?
So we've got a bit of a collection dating from as early as 1978 right up till 2005, and I thought we could dive in on the Honor, which is 1985.
Insert bone of a soup joke here.
1985.
Okay, I did say this video was going to have a few caveats, and this is one of them. Before we get into this Honor S-type guitar, the serial number dates it at 1985. However, after a little bit more of an in-depth investigation, I have found that this guitar is actually from the 1970s because the headstock and the guitar style and the logo that Honor used was from the 1970s, and in the 80s it seems they changed it. However, the serial number does say that it is from 1985, but there is also evidence online to say that they did not accurately track all of their serial numbers from the 70s to a period of time. I'm not sure how long that is, maybe the 80s to the 90s. It's also worth mentioning that we didn't realise before, but the scratch plate, the control knobs and the switch tip are not original. How do we know this? Well, the back of the guitar has got a white cover over the tremolo system, which would indicate that the front should also be a white. And all the photos I found online of this particular model all have a white pickguard. So it stands to reason that the pickguard has been changed. The control knobs are not the correct colour. The switch tip is not the correct colour to make it original. Otherwise, they'd be matching the pickups themselves. So just as two things to remember, it is being kept, I believe, as 1985 because that's what the serial number says. However, all other evidence suggests that it is a 70s guitar.
So Honor are obviously more well known for like harmonicas and the like.
Yeah.
But this one is coming out of Japan, 1985, which is a little past when people would normally be thinking of like the lawsuit era guitars, but it's almost certainly coming from the same factories as those lawsuit guitars that were like completely matching Fender specs.
Yes.
Like even looking at the hardware on this, the 6-screw trem, all of it is like absolute trademark Fender specs. So it's got like a classic 70s look to it of those Fender Strats.
Tortoise, the natural body.
This is probably Sen Ash, this body. These guitars, being so old, it's actually a little bit difficult to get all of the specs down on it. But it plays so much like a Fender from late 70s, early 80s.
It looks like it's got the sort of the 7.25-ish
Yeah.
radius on it as well. So it's gonna feel good and proper. It's got the bullet truss rod as well. Very reminiscent of the 1970s as well. That is really, really cool. And the colour scheme on this is stunning.
Yeah, like it really captures an era of like classic Fender guitars with a completely different logo on it. And actually that's the older Honor logo. You can see the little like scroll spins. That is part of what tells you that it's like mid to early 80s as well.
Yeah. But I think the vibe of the guitar for me is very 70s Fender, which is, like we said, is probably going to be what it's based on. The neck, the neck feels like in certain parts, you know, if you closed your eyes, you wouldn't be able to tell, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's it. Often, so much of this is coming from the very same factories.
Yes.
That's it.
And obviously, Prince is probably the most famous Honor guitar player
of
all time as well. I'm not getting those sort of vibes out of it, but what I am getting out of it is pure vintage sort of lawsuit vibes, let's just say.
Yeah, and this, like most of the guitars that I've got here actually, considering how old it is in such incredible condition.
It really, really
is. Like, at a glance, you wouldn't even know. There's, you know, bits and pieces. But at a glance, it's
got normal, I've played this on and off for 30 years type
Exactly.
You know? Well, longer than 30 years. We're going 40 years now on this one, aren't we? So, yeah, that's the Honor. That is really nice, actually. Okay, what are we looking at next, my friend?
Well, let's go a little bit innovative, shall we?
We like innovative.
The
we like
Switch Vibracell. This is ahead of its time. So this guitar, the only bit of wood that you're looking at on this guitar is the fretboard. The body itself is made of a patented material that they called Vibracell. It's in the name of the guitar. And it is injection molded. That's why all these like grooves are in the body here. Because if you can, why not?
Why not? If not, why not?
Exactly. No, they're talking about like controlling the density of the body and all of that stuff. Ultimately, I'm not sure that that's making a huge difference to the sound, but it's light, it's sturdy, it's held up for, not quite as old as some of the others, 2005, but it looks in fantastic condition and it plays really well. It's just the simple humbucker one pickup, but it's a workhorse.
It's a really interesting piece, and I think I said earlier on, off camera, I remember seeing one of these in the old music store down here called Falcon Music. Must be about 20 odd years ago. It was orange, 2 humbuckers. But the one thing I never actually knew about it was the fact that this isn't wood.
Yeah.
It's injection molded, which I think it did make it a little bit of ahead of its time back then. Do you think maybe that's why it didn't take off? Is because people didn't believe in the fact that, it's not wood, it's not a piece of mahogany, it's not a piece of ash, so we don't give a hoot about it?
Definitely. As I'm sure you're aware, Darren, guitarists are traditional beings.
We are. We are.
There's like the things going for it. The fact that it's one piece and stuff like that is nice in terms of stability.
Yeah, that's mental.
But I think, Vibracell stopped being manufactured, I think, before the end of the 2000s. I think by 2010, they were done. I think 2008, they might have even finished making them. It never really caught on.
No.
And I think it was just too much ahead of its time. There's equivalents now. They're making carbon fiber guitars.
I was about to say they are making, I think there are acoustic brands that are carbon fiber.
Absolutely.
There are electric guitars.
We have Enyas here in the shop that are all carbon fiber. And they're beginning to be accepted.
Yes.
But it's taken another 20 years before the discussions even gotten to that point.
Yeah, innovation sometimes takes a little bit of time to turn people's heads towards
sometimes
it, I think,
a generation literally has to die out before people will accept something different. But yeah, really, really cool, like of its time and innovative. Plays really, really nicely. It's got like a punchy humbucker sound to it.
Yeah.
We'll hear that in a little bit, I'm sure.
It reminds me of a Parker.
Yeah,
It does really remind me of a Parker, but it's got such a different vibe to it in the way it looks. Do we know if Switch is still going, or?
I don't believe they are. If they are, they're not doing anything like this anymore, that's for sure.
We will find out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what other treats do you have for us? We got a few here.
Let's go classic hair rock Kramer, shall we?
I cannot talk about hair.
You can hair rock even without the hair these days. Don't worry, it's not prohibitive.
It went south.
So
this is cool as shit.
It's a good one. The bright red and all of that. It's a statement. Kramer, obviously, famously making their guitars.
Yep.
In Neptune, New Jersey. Now, disclaimer, this guitar was probably actually manufactured in Korea and put together in America.
That makes sense.
But all those finishing touches, all the setup and things like that were American. And this is like the classic banana curl and phenomenal for its era of that hair rock classic vibe. The
one thing that hit me, and I said it earlier on, is the way that the strings come from the nut down there. It is such a dip in that headstock to come right the way back. Yeah. It just looks insane. I'll get a couple of B-roll shots up of that as well. But I can't remember seeing anything like this before in terms of this type of.
It's pretty dramatic.
Headstock. It's mental.
Yeah. Now, I think you could get the humbucker in the bridge position on some of the Kramer guitars.
Yes.
But this one is going for that classic triple S
setup.
The electronics in this are all, as with all of them, still working perfectly, which is a testament to the build quality of all of these guitars from that classic era. They age like a fine wine, these pickups. Most of these relatively budget guitars from their era.
Yeah.
Like, these aren't coming in at like professional musician prices. They were aiming to be affordable for what they were even in their time, but they have held up over time, and people really crave that classic, like, hand-woven pickup stuff going on,
I think that's one of the things that I was going to say is, like, even though it's not, you've got it here, the prices aside, you've got it here for £225. You can't expect £2,250, for a vintage Kramer in terms of the beginner models. But what you can expect is just absolute quality in terms of the way it's been built. And as you said, if it was put together, let's say, in the US factory, and it has stood the test of time, you're onto a winner in terms of the sort of guitar you're getting. And I'm looking at it now, looking at little bits and bobs, a few of the appointments. And if you didn't know, you'd say this probably was a professional guitar.
Yeah.
100%.
To look at it. Absolutely.
I would not look at this and say budget. Oh, that is awesome, man.
Yeah. The lovely Kramer neck plate is a talking point.
Serial number been checked on that one on the plate?
It has, yeah. So the AA on the serial plate is what implies that it's probably an import.
Yeah.
But it's got Neptune, NJ USA on there as well, which is what makes it likely that it was put together in America.
I have a feel of the weight of this one because it's got a bit of chunk to it, hasn't it?
It does, yeah.
It's not what I would say is a lightweight guitar. Do we know what the body was made of on this one?
Good question. I don't think we do. We might be able to look it up later. The Aerostar will have some specs on there, but I'm not certain what it was made of, actually.
Yeah.
Shall we go for the Squire Bullet?
Yes, let's go for the Squire Bullet.
Squire Bullet. This baby-bodied Squire Bullet. You can probably see already in comparison to the others that the body is narrower than your traditional Strat.
Actually, if you don't mind, if you grab that.
Yeah, of course. For comparison.
For comparison, because we know this is very Stratty.
Mm-hmm.
You can, like...
She's a bit of a baby.
Yeah, you can see me. It's a much slimmer body. Not in terms of the thickness, in terms of, like, the width. That is crazy.
Yeah. So obviously it's got the same kind of shape, the same offsets and cutaways and things like that. But it almost feels, full scale length, almost feels like a travel guitar in terms of its size. It'll squeeze into a narrower case and whatnot.
I can see it.
Along with that thinner body, it's got like some simplified features.
Yeah.
Like the tone knob. There's only one of them. Even though we've got the triple. That's all we need.
That's all we need.
I mean... The tone knob almost never works for the bridge pickup anyway. That's not even how it's designed. So that's controlling all of the tone for the whole guitar. And that's partly because the Squire Bullet series was trying to bring affordability to the to genuine Fender guitars. So this one, we'll hear it properly later, but in terms of playability, even though it looks a bit smaller and a little bit simpler, similar to the Honor, it's trying to absolutely capture genuine Fender feel. The neck, the pickups, they're all coming out of the same factories. They've got a classic bright Strat sound. And the look, even though it's smaller, is still of all of the Fender shapes, the Fender style. And you can't go wrong, ultimately.
Can I?
Please.
One of the interesting things about this as well, for me, it's got the 2-point trem.
Yes.
It hasn't got all 6 of the screws in it. And the 2-point trem is one of those things that people look for in a vintage type guitar.
Yeah.
People can spend thousands on a true vintage guitar just for a 2-point trem. And I know one guy who has just done that for a 2-point trem, and that is it.
Wow.
Whereas you got stuff like this that, okay, yeah, the body size itself is thinner than a would-be Strat, but it doesn't weigh an awful lot different. The radius isn't that of a more vintagey one, though. This looks like anywhere between a 9 and 12, I'd say. It's definitely not in the 7s.
Yeah, it's a bit flatter.
Yeah. Fretwork feels lovely, but then again, it's probably been worn down
without a doubt.
by years of playing.
Played in, yeah. This was 1989,
Yeah.
took the sign off there, but yeah.
It does, this is older than you, Brandon.
It is, yeah. By a few years.
But it's a lovely, I think, out of the Strats, I'd say this is probably the most unique one. Again, because it's only got the one tone and the body is a lot slimmer. So if you're looking for something, I think that's Stratty, but not a Strat, but is a Strat.
Yeah. Simple playability Strat.
Something like that. Maybe I am a Strat guy.
You're coming around, Daz. We're getting you, mate. We're getting you.
It's turning into a bit of a trope.
Yeah. The faded kind of off-white is also something that people find very desirable now. An emblem of its vintage pedigree. Yeah, so
if it used to be white, it's not anymore.
Exactly.
That's how you know it's a bit on the older side.
That's the Squire Bullet. Pop these back on.
The weird thing about the Bullet series as well is that it's evolution, because the Squire Bullet series started as, obviously, okay, it was always intended to be sort of an import student type model, and even now it is there, but back then, from what I can see with this one, they felt a lot better to what the Squire Bullet would be now.
Yeah.
I recently looked at one of the Squire debut Telecasters. As good as it felt, and it played lovely, you could tell that it wasn't as good as what this is intending to be, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, mate. I think that's got to be at least partly to do with the fact, with the way that the manufacturing of guitars has moved and changed over those decades. Obviously, this is a bit later than some of the earlier ones where there was the lawsuits going on because they were too good and too similar. Yeah. But it's early enough that there's still some of that going on. Yeah. This is going to be in those factories that are influenced by or even the same ones.
Exactly.
And so you just get a little bit of that early quality to it. Yeah.
It does genuinely, when you hold it in your hand, it does actually genuinely feel like a quality guitar, as I've said. Next.
So, let's have a look at the PV.
Controversy. There are caveats here, bear with, okay?
You'll notice there is no date on this guitar.
There isn't.
There is some struggle in dating this guitar. So full disclosure, if you just take into account the actual model of this guitar, the PV Raptor, that'll tell you that this is mid to late 90s. That's when they were starting to be made, as far as we know. But if you put the serial number in on PV's own website, it's telling us 1982, 83-ish. So, ultimately not certain. There are currently some posts from myself and a friend of mine in some PV forums trying to work out the mystery here. Okay. Either way, this is either a mid to late 90s or early 80s guitar. Give or take a decade, still vintage. Help us solve the mystery. If you know more about PV than we do right this moment, get in the comments.
I know nothing.
Get in the comments. Help us out.
Have you did to the pots?
Oh, I haven't. No. I haven't pulled this apart. So I haven't done a setup on any of these. Okay. These are in the condition that they were coming in. Yeah.
Definitely.
And PV have had a reputation then and now.
For quality.
Quality and building tanks.
Yeah.
So there's a pretty hefty mark on this guitar here where it's clearly fallen on something or something fell on it. But
Mic stand.
It well could have been. But it's taken the blow like a champ, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's still playing super, super well. This is just sturdy beyond belief.
Something PV were always known for as well anyway, you know?
Yeah. It is similar to a lot of these guitars, going for the Strat. Obviously, a more kind of unique body going on, interesting, like asymmetrical stuff, tiny little headstock. It's like a tight package. Everything's condensed into it, but still the triple single coil situation. And like the Squire Bullet we were just looking at.
One tone.
One tone. It's like most of these, we'll get to the Hagstrom in a minute, which is not falling into this. It's trying to be that approachable, affordable, but still high quality build.
It does remind me. It looks kind of like the start of the evolution for this guitar to maybe the PV Wolfgangs.
Yeah.
In terms of the shape, the headstock definitely. So maybe this is what it's going for, is if you wanted that sort of slightly smaller body, slightly offset in a way, smaller headstock, but you wanted that classic sound and playability, that's probably what it was going for.
Yeah, no doubt. You can see that even though it's taken that beating,
you can't see any wood.
Yeah, there's no wood showing.
You can't.
Which is a testament to the finish as well, frankly.
Yes.
Because, that's a divot. That's not just a mark. That is like a dent.
It's a good 1/2 to 3/4 of a centimetre in the body.
Thankfully, your arm would mostly cover it while you were playing anyway. You know what I mean?
Could wear it away with plenty of play, you know? Wear it away with plenty of play.
Hey.
T-shirt.
Tagline.
Wear it away with plenty of play.
Check the merch store, folks.
Not even coming soon at this point.
Shopify, sponsored by. Get in the DMs, folks.
Before we go any further, I cannot play this guitar because of my back, and it is a chunky bit of wood. I will have a bat later on. I will have a go. However,
we have.
So this is the part where angel wings and stuff come on the screen. Yeah, just like that.
The Hagstrom Super Swede 1978. When I first got this in, I had a 1979 sign on it.
Yeah.
But I contacted Hagstrom themselves with the serial number, and they told me that I was wrong, and that it is in fact 1978, made in Sweden, and this is like super high quality, like innovating on the Les Paul shape and style. There's tons of little features about this that just take the standard Les Paul thing and elevate it down to like the Art Deco tuning pegs.
I didn't notice those actually.
Mate.
Oh,
they fit cool. Right in like an 80s Odeon cinema.
I get some close-ups of the headstock here, but those tuners are cool.
Like massive, jumbo, chunky frets.
Almost reminiscent of a custom.
Yeah.
Because they're wide, but they're flat.
Yeah.
It almost would feel like nothing in a way, you know?
Exactly. So you've got your 2 humbucker pickups as standard, pickup selector, just like on a Les Paul. But there's another switch.
Is that 2 or 3-way?
It's a 3-way.
Oh.
This is sometimes called a filter switch. Ultimately, it's normally giving either a boost to mids and high end, neutral, and a boost to the bass.
Okay.
And the idea there is that between your pickups and this filter, you can get wider variety of sounds out of these humbuckers than you would normally on a Les Paul.
You could probably get like a twangy, Stratty or a Telly type sound out of it.
Yeah, if you boost those mids and trebles, that's exactly where you're going.
Instead of doing like a traditional coil split or you can get those sort of tones out of it.
Exactly. In combination with your tone knobs and that, the number of sounds you can get out of this is ridiculous. Yeah. Then there's the signature tailpiece setup. So every one of the strings, you can't quite see it under this, has its own brass block that it's secured to. The neck, These had a reputation for being the fastest neck. So they've got
It's quite flat.
Very flat. It's trademarked truss rod. There's a special name for it. Maybe we can put it on the screen. But ultimately, it's stronger, which allows this neck to be thinner, but just as stable. So, like, it's incredibly flat and thin.
There is nothing to that neck in terms of the thickness at all. I wasn't expecting that at all. I was expecting it to be like a chunky 50s type thing is what I expected it to be. But looking at it now, that's going to be widdly.
She's dainty.
Oof.
She's heavy, but she's dainty.
There's also one thing I've just noticed about this, which you don't see very often, if ever, on this type of instrument, is a 0 fret.
Yes.
And I love that. I love that it's got a 0 fret, because that means obviously open chords, you'll have the a bit more consistency.
Absolutely.
Intonation is probably going to be a lot better. And that alone
elevates stuff. Yeah. As a man who does a lot of guitar setups, I have only fallen more in love with a 0 fret. Yeah, man.
You've got to have played with a 0 fret to get it. I think, because a lot of people will go, oh, what's that there for? Trust me, 0 frets are good. There's nothing wrong with them.
In terms of sound, people are right. It really only makes a difference on open strings. Yep. But in terms of stability, reliability, in terms of intonation, all that, it's so nice.
Of course.
Yeah. And the fretboard itself is also made of, they called it resonator resin, spelt with resin, which again, they are saying they can control the density of and things. It's super smooth. This is nearly 50 years old. And like, I haven't cleaned this. This is just coming in like that.
I would not have said that is resin, because it's got grain.
It's got grain. I don't know how they achieved it. But it is like a feature of these guitars.
That is mint, though. Can I just check the weight on it very quickly?
Don't fall over.
Oh my God, they never. That is, wow.
We haven't even talked about the pancake body, 2 pieces of solid wood going on there. I think both parts of these are mahogany, but I'm not certain.
It looks like mahogany at a glance. It doesn't even look like it's made, but it just looks like it's all mahogany.
Yeah, there's a few different combinations of woods that they use on these models.
Yeah,
so
I'd say with the weight as well. It's a very, very. There's got to be mahogany. It has to be. I tell you what, it feels like. Like I used the word custom, like a Les Paul custom earlier on. It has got that weight and that feel about it, but the neck is telling me very, very differently, and I'm confused. Do you know what it feels like? It feels like I got a Gibson here and I got an Ibanez here. It's kind of what it feels like, you know?
Shreddy neck.
Yeah.
Chunky body.
And man, that is absolutely... I can't wait to hear this one.
She's a beast.
And maybe give it a bit of a bash as well. So this was a 1978. 1978. So it's older than me and you.
Yeah, by a good way. Yeah.
That is absolutely stunning, Brendan. Let's hear it.
Sounds good to me. Let's do it.
Cool.
Something completely different. This technically isn't even for sale.
I like this.
This is just an interesting part of the Kemeny family history. This is a Guild bass. This is the same age as the Hagstrom, 1978. And this old boy has been through a lot. This was my dad's bass. He bought it in the 90s, secondhand, in Northern Ireland. And he lent it to a gigging musician. And it fell over on stage, and this headstock snapped. And then a local banjo maker offered to do the repair, and did the repair with fiberglass. And he didn't exactly have an eye for aesthetics, shall we say?
No.
It's not an invisible repair.
No, it's very visible.
But miraculously, she still plays and holds tuning. It's beat up. This was one of the first stringed instruments I ever played in my house as a kid. Under the age of 10, I was picking this up. I don't think I could reach the end of the fretboard, but still.
Good place to start.
Yeah, yeah. So this, coming out in 1978, was one of the earlier kind of deviations from like Gibson shaped bodies and things. This like pretty dramatic shape was like a pretty divisive choice actually at the time. People were like, what on earth is that? And people still look at it and are like, what an odd and interesting looking bass.
Yeah, it's got vibes of so many different basses in the shape. I can't pinpoint. It's got a bit of jazz bass about it. It's got a bit of like breadwinner about it.
Yeah.
It's I can't quite pinpoint it. I tell you what I am getting. I am getting late 70s, early 80s, new romantic and indie vibes.
Yeah, sure thing.
But it's absolutely stunning. So it's a three-way?
So it's a three-way selector. These are just two single coils. So it's not really a P bass. It's not really a jazz bass. In terms of sound, it's kind of somewhere in between.
It's kind of its own thing then.
Yeah, exactly,
Okay.
Exactly. This one has got the solid white finish, which was relatively rare actually. Normally, this was just an unfinished wood finish to it. I believe it's all solid mahogany.
I love the bridge.
Yeah,
I love the way that the bridge is set up.
Solid block with the button to control the height.
Yeah.
I've done a little bit of a setup on this. Maybe we can hear it later. There's a little bit of a dodgy wiring on one of the pickups. We'll discover that later.
We can hear it.
I'll sort that out at some point, but it plays.
Yeah.
And it's got a really unique kind of, somewhere between P bass, jazz bass, like rich tone to it. And frankly, it's not for sale. It's almost, I kind of love it too much to sell it. My parents found it when they were moving house just this year, and I've given it some TLC. But as a part of history, here it is.
It's also part of your history being the first stringed instrument you probably ever touched, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you didn't turn into a bass player either.
No, I started as a bass player, but I'm also a singer, and solo bass and singing isn't really a done thing. Although I've seen some of your videos, Darren.
Let's not talk about those. Hey, if Sting can do it, anyone can do it, all right?
Fact. Preach, man, preach. So, yeah, she's beautiful. Guild, not quite as renowned, obviously, and famous as, like, the Fenders and Gibsons. But among certain people who know Guild and this era,
Do you mind?
this is, like, a really sought-after bass. These, in good condition, with even just the one pickup model of this, nowadays are over $1,000. Yeah. When they were new, I think my dad paid like 150 quid for it in the 90s.
A made in USA instrument, it's
phenomenal.
Absolutely crazy. That is cool as hell.
Maybe one day I'll see about getting a proper re-repair done on that headstock. We'll see.
I would say if it doesn't need it, don't do it. If it works, it works. And the thing is, if it's a sentimental instrument too as well, as long as you can still have a bass shot in when you pick it up and it still works, because the neck feels almost asymmetrical. It feels, it's weird. It's chunkier up here and skinnier down here. That's the feeling I get from it.
I have no idea whether that's a feature of the manufacturing or perhaps a result of the journey it's been on, shall we say. But the intonation and everything is still great. It holds its tuning. So despite the origins of that feel, it's working.
If it works, can't argue with it.
That's it.
As I'm editing the video right now, I came to the realisation that I didn't thank Brandon properly on camera. As we were wrapping up filming, he had a student arrive which he had to go and teach, so I had to pack down. So Brandon, thank you so much. If anybody is interested in anything they've seen in the video, they can visit the information in the video description for Llanelli Music Shop. And I think now more than ever we need to support our local music shops. As many of you may know, I used to be affiliated with Cadno Music with the old owner Aline, but Cadno Music has now turned into Llanelli Music Shop after Brandon took over the business. Hopefully I'm going to be doing some more work with Brandon very, very soon, but until then, I will see you all next time. Thanks again, Brandon. Bye!